Let's go find a Google image. Please open up, if you're following along with me, Google Images. And you can access Google Images by typing in images.google.com. That's the easiest way to do it for the purpose of this exercise. Then when you're at Google Images, a lot of people don't know this, you can click on Settings in the lower right corner. When you click Settings in the lower right corner, you get a pop-up that allows you to click Advanced Search. A lot of people on the internet, they just type things into Google and they click search, but it takes them maybe 10 minutes to find what they're looking for. If you know how to go to Settings and then Advanced Image Search, you can hone in on what you're looking for a lot quicker, and you end up with a better graphic that you actually wouldn't have found probably otherwise. Today, I'm looking for some clip art of a house. Now, you can search for anything you want if you're following along with me, but I recommend following along exactly for a house if you're a beginner. And by typing in house and then changing colors in image to transparent, will make it easier to find the outline of my house rather than use an eraser tool or some kind of crop tool to cut it out. So transparent is very helpful. And one last tip, type of image. Change that to clip art. I want this to be more like a cartoon vector illustration type image. This is not going to be some high resolution graphic with a sunset and like tree leaves in the beautiful fall forest of colors. This is going to be, quite honestly, like something that's black and white or very simple. So we have clip art, transparent, and a house. And one more warning, if you're going to post this online or share it with a lot of people via email or even print it out and hand it out as a flyer, it would be illegal in some states or communities or in some schools to just download anything that you find. So you might want to change this to usage rights, free to use or share. I'm going to now click Advanced Search with that choice. And I just found a bunch of houses that would work well for this assignment, for this task. If I picked this one here, it would be next to impossible to outline that, at least for me. This one would be hard because it has curves. This one's harder because of the perspective, but I bet somebody could do that for an A+. This is kind of cool because it reminds me of food. And so on. I didn't find what I'm looking for here. None of these are really, oh, that one's good right there. For this, yes. For this exercise, I'm going to pick that one right there. And I'm going to click on it again. And now it opens like this. And I see that it's currently posted at the website publicdomainvectors.org. I'm going to copy and paste this web page address so that I can use it in my works cited or bibliography later. You might get in trouble with a teacher or professor or out in the real world through somebody else's attorney if you do not cite somebody else's creation of it. Better yet, I would look for its license information. The fact that this is in the public domain and this is proof right here, this means that I can reuse it based on whatever this says right here. So whoever did this is giving away the right to other people to use it. So while I don't get credit for making it, I can use it as a project, like say a menu for a restaurant. I could use this in my menu. Anyway, so that's nice to know that it's covered under what's called CC 1.0. Well, actually CC 0, which is 1.0. If you take one of my other courses or you are tutored by me, I will teach you more about that. But right now we're going back to this graphic. I'm going to download it by clicking download. Sometimes these are sale advertisements, so you have to be careful. I think that is where I click download. So I'm going to click download. And now I'm going to open up a Google Drawing document. Now, if you don't know how to find this Google Drawing document, see your teacher, your professor, or email me if you can find my email address. This is not a Google Doc, as in this is not something you would type an essay in. This is not like Microsoft Word, and it's not a spreadsheet like Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet. It's not a PowerPoint like Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Presentation. It is not a Google Form. It is something else called a Google Drawing. It has the ability to draw things, and I put a piece of graph paper in the background of it. So that's what's special about this Google Drawing. So now that I put this graph paper in, which is perfectly matched up with the Python turtle graphic grid that's behind the scenes in any Python project. So because its coordinate system matches, it's perfect for our task at hand. I now am using the insert drop-down menu command that you get in a Google Drawing document. And I'm sliding over here to where it says upload from computer. If you have a photo in your camera roll, you could put your face in there or somebody else's face if you have their permission. You could outline somebody else's face and turn it into some kind of Instagram-like filter effect. That would be cool too, with proper permissions, as long as you're not bullying and all that. So be careful. You can almost do things that would like be so cool they'd kick you out of the United States, like probably, because it'd just be awesome. Right now, I'm going to keep this like pretty lame. I'm going to just upload from computer and just upload this right here in my downloads folder. Oh, I should have renamed that. When I downloaded it, I should have renamed it. I'm going to rename it now. I'm just going to call it house. The .svg just means it's a scalable vector graphic, I think. So that's fine, it works. So with that selected and renamed house, I'm going to click open. That puts the house in here. Oh, sorry, you can't use SVGs in Google Drawing. So I'm going to have to go to my backup plan. That house is no good. Did they give it to me as a GIF or a JPEG or a PNG? I don't see another copy of it there. So that one just didn't work. So I'm going to click back to my search and pick another one that looked okay, such as this one right here. That one looks pretty good. So I'm going to click on that one. Check to make sure it's one I can reuse. Yes, this is covered by a public domain license also. There's the web page address for it. I copy and paste it, record it somewhere in my works cited. This one I'm going to download. When I download it, oh, I could see there, you can't see it, but it's also an SVG. Now I'm getting kind of frustrated. I know I'm being recorded by a video, so I'm going back to Google. I'm going to go back to this main advanced search screen right here, and I'm going to scroll down here to where it says any type, and I'm going to change that to clip art, but I'm going to change the any format to either GIF or PNG. I'm going to go for a GIF, keep it transparent, and keep it a house. So with transparent, clip art, GIF, not filtered by any license, I'm going to change that to free to use and share. Click. Another roll of the dice here. I'm not even getting any houses. That was a false lead, so I'm going to change it to what the heck, not filtered by license. Now we found some houses. And now I don't find the one I'm looking for either. This can be frustrating. So I'm going to switch it to PNG files. They're popular too, and they also support transparency. Bam, that's a good one. But that's at Pinterest, and that's a subscriber website, so I'm not going to get that one. And that's Pinterest also. I don't want that one. So you know what? We're just going to find this one right here. This was pretty simple. It is transparent because the checkerboard, you know that. So I'm going to go to that website. there it is for anybody that wants to pause this video. You can just directly access that webpage address. Here it is. It's covered by CC0 license 1.0 also. I'm going to download this one by clicking, that I think is an advertisement. Be careful. That is definitely an advertisement. Don't click that. I'm going to click over top of it and click Save Image As. That's another way to get it. Now I'm going to change the name of it to House. But I already have a house saved to my downloads folder. So when I click Save, I'm going to replace the other one. So now I do have that copied to my hard drive of my computer. I downloaded it from the internet to the computer that I'm using. This may be possible on an Android tablet or an iPad. I'm not sure, but it definitely works on computers. Now that I have it downloaded, I can go back to my cool piece of Google Drawing graph paper, and this is our chance. Insert image, upload from computer. Now when I insert this house.png, it's called a ping file. It's kind of like a GIF or a GIF, GIF. It's kind of like that. It works, and there it is. That is so super humongous. It's larger than I don't want it to fill my whole Python window. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key on the keyboard is usually a safe thing to do, and then click to resize one of these corner sizing handles. That usually keeps it from stretching out of whack. I'm going to center it. You can pretty much put it anywhere you want. I'm not scared of negative numbers over here, so I don't mind it hanging out over here. If I were a third grader, I might keep it to the first quadrant like that. So it's in the positive number area, but I'm not. I want this to be kind of large. So there it is, centered as best I can. And maybe using the arrow keys on the keyboard to like fine tune it. And now that I've got it where I want it, perhaps I do a fresh file save just to make sure. Oh, Google Docs automatically save as you work with them in the cloud. So, and you can share them with your collaborator if your teacher allowed you to share it with other people and work collaboratively on this project. Now that I have that there, I can always, with a line tool, I can always hold down the Shift key or just use the line tool to draw lines. I can add a door that way. And if you want to keep things as straight lines, you can do that. If you have the guts to draw curves, which curves are really hard in Turtle graphics unless you really practice a lot, but you could put curves in there. And I don't know what I'm curving around right now, but by double clicking, it made it some kind of funky curve. I'm going to do edit undo to erase that, because I didn't really want that curve. I didn't even want the door, to tell you the truth. I just wanted to give you the idea that you could upgrade that simple clip art house. This is too dangerous. I don't want my students playing with this. The Scribble tool and the Scribble tool with a thicker line size, that might be just too much power there to scribble, because trying to do that in Python Turtle graphics, that would be like 1,000,000 points you'd have to like identify and label. That might be too much, but if you're doing a Nike swoosh stripe, that might be the only way to do it. You can also insert like polygons by double clicking at the right spot. You can do polygons. I don't really want that, so I hit the delete key on the keyboard. I use the arrow tool there to delete that. And of course, you can experiment with like things like these shapes. You can even put your name in a font or the word house. If you wanted to, you could insert a text box and maybe label the house right here. You could call it house. And then maybe jack up that font size to font size 48. You could also double click in that text box and use a more interesting font, like Google gives you like a lot of fonts. You could find one like Arvo here. Reminds me of somebody that I had that was named, started with an A, period 11. But you could use a house here also as text. Now don't worry about color, because color is not going to transfer over into Python. You'll be using a pen color over in your Python. This is just for the outline of what you want to draw. It's just for the planning, the second step of the programming process. Now I'm ready to start labeling points. So now I click that text box icon again, and I zoom in, at least for the video purposes, I zoom in. You might not need to zoom in at home, but let's say that we want to start with that corner point right there. By clicking that text box tool right there and typing the X location of that corner, the X location is, follow with me here, it's this point right here. That's the point -90. If you use good old-fashioned arithmetic geometric logic, if that's -50 and that's -100, you know that negative numbers go down as you move to the left. This would be -60, -70, -80, and that would be -90. So -90 is the number I should put there in a set of parentheses, because math teachers and like me, I like parentheses around my XY coordinates. The Y location, the up and downness, the verticalness of that corner point would be about this point right here, which looks to me like it's -110. So -110 would be typed here with another parenthesis. If you want to resize that text box, that's fine. If you want to change the font size of your labels, that's fine too. But now that I've labeled that corner point, I drag that right there. You don't really have to put like a big dot there, but if you want to draw a dot, that's fine. I just bumped it. I shouldn't have done that. And now that I have one point labeled, and then if I label this point by copying and pasting that text box, Command-C and Command-V would let me put that over there real quickly. I know that when you have a horizontal line, the Y is the same. So that -110 is going to be the same. The X, though, is going to be different. That X looks like it's precisely 85. It's 85. I can tell it's about positive number 85. So with those 2 points labeled, I now, with my Python code, as explained in a future video, I can draw that line with a pen size of whatever thickness I'd want. I can change the color. I can mimic this in Python. And I could do the same with all these other corner points. Then I could make another pen, and I could outline the word house. And I could make another pen and draw a door in a location that I would design it here in this Google drawing document. So if you have a combination of creativity with digital skills, you could plan a really professional, awesome project that you produce with Python. You might even end up working for Pixar or DreamWorks or Disney as an editor for those really cool graphic effects that they get in TV Super Bowl commercials, or full-featured movies like Avatar, Toy Story, your latest like Marvel Comics movie. You could work for them if you understand this stuff. Anyway, at any point you can file print this, and if you're more of a paper pencil person, which is fine, and you want to do it for homework where maybe your iPad or computer isn't available, you could just print this out, and with paper and pencil, well, with pencil, you could label these corner points and draw other things. Colored pencils would be neat. You could fill in things that you want filled in with color. I would recommend using pencils, not pen or markers, in case you want to change your ideas, because this is a planning document. You could insert another Google graphic, like if you wanted to put a picture of your favorite teacher in here, looking out the window of the house, you could maybe outline his or her head And that's a wrap on the video because it looks like it's time to